Alrighty, I got the clear parts in. The canopy's a bit of fun because of the shape of it's awkward to mask. This is something I masked it myself, but it'd be a lot easier to buy a mask set for it. I'm sure you can probably get one, but I've still got to cover that bubble up, and I'll use that masking solar again for that. When I do canopy masks, I use this light, hold the clear part over it. I'll turn it on, but it'll probably be blinding. And you can see through. That's too much, but yeah, you see the light shines through and you can see the frame, and you just come in with a sharp blade and cut it off. Actually, I don't mind it. I find it soothing. These side little windows, what I've done is I've cut the tape. I'm going to paint around the frame, the edge of the frame, because the design of the kit part is sort of curved. So you can see, if you left that all clear, you can see through into where the part of it, you can see the frame, the other part you don't, because of the way it's designed. And I prefer just to have clear window, no frame, so I just masked them off a little bit. The nose one was awkward too because it's curved, but I got there eventually. I just did it in sections. Getting these side windows in was a bit hard to get to seat in their position. Excuse me, but yeah, got there eventually. The side windows, I use that to glue them in. Like I mentioned, get a heap of glue off it, and then just gently touch where the two parts meet each other, and let the capillary action run around. But yeah, minimal glue, because if you have too much on the brush, it'll run off and ruin the clear part. Crystal clear you could use as well, but they're pretty tight fit, and I didn't want to use the crystal clear and try and sit them in position and move it, and then the glue smears, and so I was just quicker doing it that way for myself. So this model, I'm going to I love the Mosquito. It's a really nice looking aircraft with the dual engines. I'm just going to make a bit of a base for this one. So it's got this photo frame, and I'm going to, the wheels will fit inside this area, so that'll be the part of the base framework. I'll probably put on a bit of an angle. I'm going to make up tarmac and have some bit of grass on one side or something like that. So yeah, just something different. I haven't done something like that for a long time. I think this model will look nice on it. This is the design of the aircraft. Alright, so I'm just about ready for primer. So I've put the canopy on, which I did last time. So I sprayed it black first, and then the interior colour, and then the aircraft colour will go on top of that, even though you'd probably not really, you might through the main canopy, you might be able to see through and see the inside, but it's just a good habit to keep. I've done the interior, the wheelbase, so this one, when I go to paint it now, I'll put these on, but they should just sit there like that, but it's a nice little touch. I've started preparing the rest of the parts. I've painted up the wheels. I've just got to paint in the hub. I'm trying something different. I haven't tried this method before, so I've primed the propeller and the spinner black. Then I've sprayed them aluminium, giving them a clear gloss coat. Then I'm going to spray the colour, which is the British one I'm doing, is yellow for the spinner, and obviously the propeller's black with yellow tips. And I'm not going to use hairspray technique or anything. I'm just going to paint the colour down, and I'm going to get some sponge and just lightly see if I can scratch it to show the aluminium through. I don't know how it'll go. I haven't tried it before. In theory it should work, but we'll see how I do it. I've started some work on the base. So I'm using, so this is cork. So I've laid down a sheet of cork. I've grooved to represent slabs of concrete, so I just used a ruler and I started with the ruler and a sharp blade to cut it, and then I come in. So I got I think these are Tamiya. They may not be. No, I don't think they are. Tamiya do make them, I think. But anyway, it's a set of photo etch razor saws. So I didn't use a curve on it. I put this one in here and I just run it along to create the gap between the slab. Then, because it's cork, you got that rough texture, so I might have to do it again yet. I'll see when I prime it how it looks. So on top of the cork, I've used, so it's just a filler for timber. And I'll just put that down and smooth it out, and where it's rough, it'll be like a natural fault in the concrete, like chips and whatnot. That's my theory, but we'll see when I prime it. I might have to put another coat of that putty down on top. So it's a bit rough. What I'll do is get some sandpaper, fine grit sandpaper, and smooth it off. I'll prime it, see how it looks, and I might need to go over it again in some areas. The sides for the dirt is just so mixed up. Some of this, I bought this to do my ocean base for that 1700 ship I did. So it's called sculptor mold. It's funny looking material. I mixed that with plaster of Paris and sand, mixed them together and just put it in there and smoothed it out. So that's just going to be all grass, static grass on the sides. Oh, the frame's got a, it's not level. So I'll paint that dirt colour, then put the grass on. You won't really see much dirt through it. I'll put a heavy coat of static grass, and then I'll paint up the concrete. I'll use, when I get it right, I'll use probably use this over it, give it different hues of colour through it and spray it different colours. And then the aircraft, when it's done, will be sitting on there. So it's just nice little display. Okay, she's all primed up. So because it's monotone colour, the photo reconnaissance blue, I'm going to break the paintwork up with the scourer again, like I did in my last build. I'll get a fresh piece. That's the one I actually used in my last build. Go over it with white primer. Then I'm going to come in with black and pre-shade the panel lines and those hatches, access panels, and then move into the paint. This is the paint I'll be using for it. SMS Lacquer Photo Reconnaissance Blue. This is the scheme I've chosen. It's actually South African Air Force. It's the first time I've actually read that, but it's got the British roundels. That's why I said I'm doing the British one. Anyway, so I do like the American one as well. but yeah, I decided to go with this one. This one has a white tail with red stripes, which they've supplied decals for, but I'm probably just gonna paint them in, because I think I don't know, I don't like big decals like that have to conform to the whole of a panel, and usually they're either too big or don't conform well. Yeah, so that is easy enough, and I'll do the invasion stripes after I've painted the blue down. So I just go over where I need to, beyond, to make sure I've covered the blue properly, and then I'll come in and mask off and do the invasion stripes. So I've primed this concrete again. I'm happy with how it looks. It's rough looking, that's how I want it. It's not a runway, it's a tarmac, so it's just the aircraft's parked off the runway on the side. I'm going to use that splatter template now and come in, do that, and then I'll come in with different shades of grey and spray it in. The earth, you won't really see any of that by the time I put down static grass, but I just put the brown down, and you will see through probably a few spots here and there. So I didn't worry about doing different shades of brown or anything. I just sprayed the one colour. But I'm happy with how that is turning out. Alright, so that's just the final look before I start laying paint down. You can also see those masks on there, they work really good. Good idea. I don't know if they did that on any of their other kits or not. Alright, and the base, so I just used 3 different shades of greys, just sprayed randomly, and then I did a flat clear coat over it, keep it a matte look to it. Now I can do the grass, and that part of it will be done. Really happy with that now, the way it turned out. It's going to really set the model off nicely. I'm doing the invasion stripe now. You can see I've painted the PRU Blue. So Airfix give you the measurements. The entire strip is 42mm long, and then the bands are 8.4mm each. This is where I like to bring in these contraptions for accurate measurements. So what I did was I masked either end. So I masked the tail end first, so I went by the picture, the diagram, that the white is back along the fin, the first white band. So I put a piece of tape around that way, and then I cut a piece of tape on here, which was 4.2mm long, and then I cut narrow strips, and I put one either side of the fuselage. Then I had my length, and then I did another piece of tape around that end, and I've just masked it off so I can paint in. If I'm doing invasion stripes, I always do black, and then I spray the white over the black. White gets a nice deep colour if you spray it over black. And yes, I'm aware, well, not all of them, but a lot of them in the field were just painted roughly, but I think on a scale model that looks crap, and I like to have them neat. So I've just given that black a gloss clear coat, and then I'll do the same. I'll cut some strips that are 8.4 so I can mark the bands, and then I'll mask off the black and then spray on the white. And when that's done, I will do the white tail and the red bands on it. Now my base is finished. Love it. Bit of static grass, nice and simple, and it'll look nice displayed on there. Something different in a display cabinet. Right, invasion stripes done. So I've just given it a clear gloss coat. I'm going to leave that and probably finish up for today and let that dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'll be back in and I'll mask off that tail and spray it. Same again, I'm going to spray that tail black, then I'm going to spray the white, and then I'll come in with the strips. I just checked, so I can do 2 mil strips as the width of the bands on that setup on the tail. And then I'm probably thinking I'm going to, because it's not South African but it's British roundels, I'll probably mask them and spray them, because it's easy. You just need a circle cutter. Yeah, and then just anything you can paint always looks better than decals, and that'll just leave stencil data. And the tail flash are really tiny. I'll probably just use those decals. And you can see the aircraft serial number has got the blue in the decal, so I'm just going to use them on it. You can see I was going to mask it, that blue off, I just put the decal on, but then when I looked at the decals I saw that the blue's in there, so I'm just going to go with what they've done. And yeah, there's not a lot of stencil data go on it really, so that'll be pretty easy. I've also put together my propellers. You can see I've kept it subtle, but I just used a piece of sponge. I cut a fresh piece off so I didn't have dust from anything else on there, and I just rubbed it along on an angle on the edge, and then the spinner just on the end. It's not too bad. It's worked okay, I guess. I don't know what I was really expecting, but it'll do the job for this one. Yeah, and I've painted the wheels. That's simple enough, but I'll just use a circle. I've had this for years. I remember where I got it. I think I got it on eBay. I probably had it 10 years or more. So I find it easier to spray the hubs. I watch people doing that. They go the other way and they spray the hub and then they run paint around there. It's just painful. Just rather using that template, and it takes a couple of seconds.